hospital. Pump out your stomach before you die. That's how poisonous it can be. Then what did the government do? It forced Morton to add back in some iodine that he had already taken out. And now he sells iodized salt. Good for you. But basically it's still 100% sodium chloride. Now, by taking out the 3% of trace minerals from sodium chloride, he made a toxic substance. Whereas if you just take raw sea salt, not only it's good for you, your body can benefit from those 3% of trace minerals. The body needs a spectrum of up to 90 trace minerals to be healthy. But if you just eat raw, more than salt, it's detrimental for you, and your body's not getting those trace minerals. So by patenting something, they concentrate one or two constituents of an herb, and they make a lot of money, and they hype it up, and they make a lot of money on it. But you can get the same thing just by taking the raw herb on a regular basis. And incrementally, it heals your body. Now, for example, once my daughter inherited a sick rabbit, and along with the rabbit, she got 5 or 6 big sacks of Science Diet for the rabbit from the Petco. And she said, "Daddy, the rabbit's sick." And I looked at the rabbit, it looked like it was going to die. Right? His eyes were dull, its coat was very dull. It wasn't moving, it was just staying in one corner of its cage. And I said, "What's the matter?" She said, "Oh, I don't know, but we got to give it the Science Diet, it'll get better." I said, "It got better by eating the Science Diet. How it's going to get... It got worse by eating the Science Diet. How is it going to get better by eating the same thing?" She said, "What are we going to do, Daddy?" I said, "Open the cage." She said, "Well, it'll run away." I said, "He's not running anyway. He can't even move." I said, "Put the cage out on the deck and let's see what happens." So we had a wild garden in the back. I was too lazy to mow the lawn, so it was full of wild herbs. So all day long, I kept my eye on the diet, on the rabbit, to see what it was going to do. After about 2 hours, the rabbit very slowly sidled out of the cage, went down into the garden, and did a bee's line toward the dandelion. And I saw it snap off a dandelion stalk, dandelion flower stalk, and put it in its mouth and started eating it until it came to the flower, and then ate the flower also. And it stayed like that for a couple hours in the garden, moving real slowly, and then slowly it came back by itself to the cage, and went to sleep, drank a little water and went to sleep. Every day the rabbit would go out, eat the dandelions, started eating the leaves also. Then he got a little tired of dandelions and started eating some blackberries and other things. And after 1 week, it refused to go back into its cage. It would stay out in the garden, and we'd have to chase it to catch it and bring it back to its cage. And after 3 weeks, the rabbit disappeared. It started digging holes, because rabbits like to live in holes. And finally, it was smart enough to dig underneath the fence and went away. And by the time it went away, it had a really shiny black, coat of hair. Its eyes were bright. Its ears were twitching. Its head was going around. It was running like you couldn't catch it anymore. It was running like a normal rabbit. It didn't eat one pellet of the Science Diet. It only ate dandelions. That's how powerful that noxious herb is. It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, I think we can take one last question, and then we should wrap up the evening. One last question, anybody?
The diet for us the students is, at least I can say for me and by some of my friends, is pretty messed up.
Yeah.
So if you have to give 5 tips for us to eat healthier, considering what we can get from Safeway and KFC, nobody can go to some special stores and buy that special stuff like raw milk and stuff. So if you have to give like 5 tips, then what would those be?
Well, very simple. First 2 rules. Don't eat anything that has eyes and fat. So, Murgi, Matsui, and so forth. All that is out. Don't eat only those things that if you plant it, it grows. So instead white rice, you get whole grain brown rice, or whole grain quinoa, or whole grain whatever. Do not use Golden Temple Atta. You go to Whole Foods, or you go to Safeway, and you buy stone ground whole wheat flour. You make your rotis. Just get fresh vegetables. Every meal you should have half raw, half cooked. Don't eat always cooked foods, because raw foods have digestive enzymes. When you cook them, you kill the digestive enzymes. So half should be like salads and fresh things, and you should get your mung beans and sprout them. Sprouted food has the most digestive enzymes, so you don't force your body to make digestive enzymes. And it has much more increased nutritional value than dried bean. So mung beans sprout very easily. You probably know how to do it. If you don't, I'll teach you right now. You just soak them in water overnight. Next day you get a cotton cloth, wet the cotton cloth, spread your soaked seeds in it, roll it up, fold it over, put it in a black garbage bag, leave it in a drawer somewhere dark and dry. 3 days later, open up, all your sprouts are sprouted. That's called grandma's system. Doesn't cost you anything, right? And it's minimum work. You don't need a jar, you have to put water in it, you have to empty it out, all that. You just put it in a wet cloth, and then after 3 days, you transfer it to a bowl, and leave it in indirect sunlight. It'll keep growing. You'll eat it, and it'll grow back the next day. You know, so you want to have 50% raw, 50% cooked every meal. No snacking between meals. Snacking between meals destroys your digestion. And do not mix proteins, carbohydrates, and sugars at the same meal. I mean, in other words, don't eat your traditional American diet. A piece of raunchy meat covered with denatured gravy, some limp vegetables, frozen vegetables, some insipid mashed potatoes, coffee, and a lemon meringue pie. That's mixing carbohydrates, proteins, and sugars at the same meal. If you want to destroy your digestion totally, eat like that. Otherwise, you have a separate protein meal, a separate carbohydrate meal. Carbohydrate meal is very simple. You have brown rice, salad, cooked vegetables, and roti, flatbread. Protein meal, you have lentils, salad, cooked vegetables, yogurt. And that's the main thing, those 3 rules. No snacking between meals, half raw, half cooked, no mixing proteins, sugars, and carbohydrates at the same separate. And you need minimum 3.5 to 4 hours for your stomach to digest. If you eat in that time, you ruin your digestion. That's all. Very simple. Okay, we'll stop right there. Thank you very much. I'm sorry it took so long.
On behalf of YUVA, I would also like to thank you all for coming and attending the event. I hope you had a great time and hope to see you next year also. Thank you.